Sometimes called the Karl Marx of our time. Her monumental book, The Age of Surveillance Capitalism, exposed the dubious mechanisms of our digital economy. According to Zubuoff, our personal and private experiences have been hijacked by Silicon Valley and used as the raw material for extremely profitable digital products.
The term surveillance capitalism is not an arbitrary term. Why surveillance? Because it must be operations that are engineered as undetectable, indecipherable, cloaked in rhetoric that aims to misdirect, obfuscate, and just downright bamboozle all of us all the time.
Connecting them.
Don't be evil.
Connecting them. Humanity.
Don't be evil.
Humanity. Humanity.
It's about empowerment of the individual.
The future is private.
What really happens with your Facebook photos? Why are there hidden microphones in Google Nest? And Pokemon Go exposed as child molesters? In this episode of Backlight, Shoshanna Zubuoff reveals how Silicon Valley deceives us so well.
How all this comes into play when I buy a pair of shoes on the internet?
Well, some people will say to me, but Professor Zubuoff, I like those targeted ads. They're so useful, or I enjoy personalized services. Sometimes people will say, I have nothing to hide, so I don't care what they take. Each one of these statements is a profound misconception of what's really going on. We think that the only personal information they have about us is what we've given them. And we think we can exert some control over what we give them. And therefore we think that our calculation, our trade-off here is something that is somehow under our control, that we understand it. What's really happening is that we provide personal information, but the information that we provide is the least important part of the information that they collect about us.
Thanks to their navigation and search engine, Google knows where we are all the time and what we think. Facebook knows our hobbies, preferences, and friends because they retrieve a lot of information from the digital traces we leave behind unwittingly. Spelling errors in your search terms, which color buttons you prefer, how fast you type, how fast you drive. Residual data.
Way back at the beginning, back in the year 2000, 2001, 2002, back in those days, these data were considered just extra data. They were considered waste material. And people called them things like digital exhaust or data exhaust. Eventually, it was understood that these so-called waste materials harbored these rich predictive data.
The search information we retain, we do for quality purposes. So for example, the Google spell checker, our Did You Mean feature that appears on Google, has been built using long periods of data around someone issuing a query and then issuing another corrected query right after that, and us learning those corrections. And it actually takes more than 30 days worth of data to build the world-class spell corrector that we have.
The companies like to say, we collect data so that we can improve our service. And that's true. They collect data, and some of it is used to improve the service to you. But even more of it is analyzed to train what they call models, patterns of human behavior. So once I have big training models, I can see how people with these characteristics typically behave over time. And that allows me to fit your data right into that arc and to predict what you're likely to do not only now, but soon and later. This is what I call behavioral surplus. These data streams filled with these rich predictive data. Why surplus? Because right from the start, these were more data than was required to improve products and services.
Once you have the behavioral surplus, the comprehensive behavioral data of hundreds of millions of people, you can start predicting the preferences of specific groups. Think popular shoes for male managers, or the preferred restaurant of a group of people sharing the same zip code.
Maybe they do a prediction of where I have dinner tonight, or how can I imagine what they will predict about me?
Well, at the simplest level, they may predict the kind of food you're in the mood for right now, and then sell that prediction, auction that prediction to their business customers in the restaurant business, who will then send you a very quick ad. We know you're in the mood for a delicious pasta dish tonight. We can invite you to our restaurant. Here's a discount coupon.
There are some people who are saying, well, it's very improbable that those targeted ads really can achieve something, because people have their own will and they will not buy some shoes just because there is an ad in front of them.
I think one of the misconceptions that's really important for us to move away from is that surveillance capitalism is something that is only manifest in our lives when we're online, or somehow it's only restricted to online targeted advertising. It's easy for us to say, oh, these things don't affect me. The fact is, this is being conducted at a layer that is not accessible to us.